and I made him watch.
Waluigi.
Wah.
So, this UFO and like drone shit is kind of crazy, right?
I mean, I feel like the UFO stuff is like the least craziest thing happening right now.
Oh, what is the most craziest thing happening right now in your
Well,
opinion?
fuck, dude. Where do you start with that? Like, you've got, you know, we're just offing CEOs in the street now,
It's
and
crazy.
we have puppet presidents. I think maybe. I don't know. Let's not get too far into the fucking
This
conspiracy
isn't
theory
a
stuff.
Oh, that would be fun if we did like a intermission conspiracy episode. If we ever get back to doing intermission episodes.
Yeah, we've been slacking. Yeah. Oh well.
It's the holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
So we get really busy like August and the rest of the year because, yeah.
Well, next week we're gonna have plenty of time to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I will be on Christmas vacation, and then we're gonna go see the new Nosferatu.
Yes, we are. We're going to go see Nosferatu. I'm so excited.
On Christmas Day at 4:20.
At 4:20, blaze it.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to And I Made Him Watch.
What is up, my guy?
Anyway, sorry. Hello and welcome back to And I Made Him Watch, the podcast where I make my husband watch weird movies. I'm your host, Dani Page, and here with me forever and always, the poor soul bracing himself for another one of my holiday picks, my husband and filmmaker, Troy Allen. Feeling merry yet?
I would not say merry would be the word I would choose. I had to take a nap after this last movie because I was just so exhausted, and it was more of like a defeated type of feeling too. Like, I really do wish I could tell you what happened in this movie. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what's so cool about film. Film is so subjective, and somebody may like something and somebody else may hate it. So, but I'm never gonna watch that movie again.
I completely understand. So, unfortunately, I made you watch Silent Night, Bloody Night from 1972. And boy, does this movie show its age. It is 52 years old. This is an old movie. This was kind of a hard to watch. It was a hard watch. Not because of the content, but because it's a slow burn. And it's very predictable. And I hope to never watch or talk about this movie again.
Yeah.
Because it made my brain hurt too.
Yeah. I mean, there were like so many things going on with this movie, but the lighting sucked so bad that you couldn't tell what was happening.
Yeah, there's some scenes that are just super dark. You can't. Yeah.
But I just kind of chalked it up to like, oh, well, it wouldn't really matter if I knew what was happening anyways. Because, I mean,
I completely understand. So when I got the idea to do the horror holiday movies, I was doing, I had to pick some out, and some of them I had seen and some of them I hadn't, because I also like to watch movies I haven't seen yet. So this was one of them. And the description was really cool because it was like this gothic atmosphere movie about a man who inherits like a haunted house that used to be like an insane asylum. Like, that is like a really fucking cool story.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this seems like it's going to be fucking wild.
It's a classic trope that never gets old.
It was not wild.
Yeah.
It was not good.
No.
It was I think I was maybe like 10, 15 minutes in, and I was like, okay, this isn't going to be good, is it?
No. It was like if Buster Keaton tried to make a horror movie, like you could have watched it with the sound off and been completely fine.
Yeah, it's not. I really hate saying horrible things and negative things about movies. But this was not a good watch. This was not entertaining. It really lacked a lot. Even for a movie that's, in its 50s, it lacked a lot, and it was
Yeah, I mean,
frustrating.
don't get me wrong. There were good things about the movie that I liked, but those were kind of few and far between.
Yes. I completely understand. Completely understand.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into it and see what really happened.
Okay, let's do this. The film begins right away with a voiceover by Diane, who is visiting the grounds of the Butler home before it is demolished. She tells us that the house was built by Wilfred Butler, who no one ever saw, nor did he live in the house. He didn't live in the house, and then in 1950 he came back. We do a little time jump back in time to see what happened to Wilfred. We see a pretty calm scene of a farmhouse dressed in snow, and it would seem pretty normal except for this very eerie music playing in the background. Suddenly, the calm is broken by Wilfred running out of the house, caught on fire. And this dude did not learn how to stop, drop, and roll properly in school. Like, at all. He really did. It took him.
No, I know. I just hate that you wrote that because I literally just wrote "stop, drop, and roll," my guy. Like, come on, man. Like,
my joke first.
I know.
My joke first.
I think
we're keeping it in.
The dude died from this though, which is pretty silly. Like, who dies from being burned to death?
A lot of people.
Oh, sorry about that.
A lot of people die being burned to death. But this clearly the man's clothes were on fire, and he has like a heavy coat on and stuff. It clearly, if he had stopped, dropped, and rolled in the fucking snow, like in snow,
like I feel like you stand a pretty good chance of surviving, bro.
Not to put down anyone who's didn't do great. Stop, drop, and roll. We're not judging other people.
I feel like
this dude clearly had an opportunity to survive, and he just chose not to.
I feel like we were taught to stop, drop, and roll in elementary school.
Yeah,
and it was so pressed upon us to learn how to do that. I felt like being caught on fire would have been a more likely scenario for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like that's something you were gonna have to contend with a lot in your life because you were being taught to do it so early on.
We are in the South, and especially in the 90s and late 80s, early 90s, going to school. I'm imagining they're being in more of a country type of area. There are lots of fires, like bonfires and stuff. Like rednecks really like fire, so yeah. I'm sure it was purposely. I mean, with very good intentions.
Yeah, I was a pretty big firebug when I was a kid.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, so had I been caught on fire, I would have been all right because I could do the stop, drop, and roll. But this guy, no,
you
can't do
this guy, no. Okay. So inside, we focus on a lit fireplace as we see Wilfred burning from the window. We slowly zoom out as Diane tells the audience that no one else had returned to the house for Christmas. And then we hear an organ playing, and then we see someone playing the organ as the zoom out continues. So we get this it doesn't really have any features. It could be a man or a woman, but they're hunched over this organ and they're playing the song. We then hear the voiceover of the county coroner telling us that Wilfred's death was deemed an accident. And then we get a close-up of a family picture of a man, a woman, and a young girl as a child sings Silent Night, and then roll the intro credits.
Dun, dun.
So the beginning of this movie wasn't too bad to me. I'm like, okay, this seems like it could be kind of cool. And
yeah, I mean, man, it's like you're thrust into this classic 1970s, even the aspect ratio was, I don't even know. It was like a 1-to-1, to be honest. It was just square box TV, and
you wish you had watched the Spanish version.
Honestly, kinda. For context, I fucked up and I almost watched the Spanish version of this movie first, but the very beginning was like the resolution was a lot better.
Oh
and,
my God,
like,
the color was amazing in the Spanish version.
yeah,
Like, I'm kind of upset that I didn't watch the Spanish
yeah.
version.
I mean, it had English subtitles.
Yeah.
It was just in Spanish. So I mean, I could have watched that, but I didn't feel like it was fair for us to not have seen the same movie.
Edit, yeah. Yeah, I get that. And I appreciate what you went through.
Yeah.
Because I understand what you went through with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I went through it too.
Well, like I said, I had to take a nap after this.
Yeah.
So,
I can see it in your eyes that you're broken now.
yeah.
Like, you look really broken.
We've seen some fucked up movies on this podcast, and I have to say, this has got to be
the boringest, most bored.
Maybe.
Boring?
It's a contender for sure. For sure.
The voiceover of Diane tells us that Wilfred was buried on New Year's Day and no one attended his funeral. A voiceover from Wilfred tells us that he has left his estate to his grandson Jeffrey, charging him with only one duty: to lead the house as he left it, and to remind the world of its inhumanity and cruelty. Like, that's a lot to say about a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, this will was kind of creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of jelly. I want to leave a cryptic ass fucking will.
That'd be so badass.
With like some random ass coordinates on it. Like, this is where I buried the fucking treasure, you know. But joke's on you, there's nothing there. Like, that's my last good joke.
You should you should leave something there, but it should be something very like mundane or useless.
It's a Furby.
Or
it's like a
square bicycle wheel.
Ooh. Triangle.
Triangle.
It's like a triangle that you play though. Like a dinner triangle.
Oh, nice. Like a ding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the house was left empty for 20 years until it was put up for sale, which caused some commotion around town, even reaching to a state hospital of the criminally insane. We then get a POV of someone attacking hospital staff and escaping in a car.
Ooh. To be honest, I wasn't entirely sure what was happening right here. So
yeah.
This is kind of news to me. Someone escaped from a mental hospital?
Yeah.
Oh,
there was a whole scene. There was a whole scene about it.
That's wild. I mean, okay. You say so.
You're just not into this movie, are you?
I mean, I watched it.
I watched it too. But we're going to put the work in. The effort has to go somewhere. We're going to finish this.
Okay.
Together.
Alrighty. Well, hurrah. Let's do it.
We watch as John Carter, a lawyer and the one in charge of selling the house for Jeffrey Butler, arrives with Ingrid, his assistant and mistress. They begin to explore the porch of the house as Ingrid takes photos of them together. We then jump to Diane driving and listening to the local news, which briefly mentions the escapee. She drives past a man holding a tire iron and then watches through her rear movie as this man begins to beat the windshield of his own car.
I mean,
that's fucking creepy.
If you're on the side of the road and you're trying to get assistance and stuff, don't wave the tire iron at people first off.
Don't show them you have a tire iron.
Like, of course they're not going to stop. And then he proceeds to beat the shit out of his windshield. Like, bro's crazy.
Yeah.
Bro's got some issues.
Yeah. Some
daddy issues.
True. Some mommy issues. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, parent issues. And,
I watched this movie, okay?
You really did?
I did. I promise.
Okay. John and Ingrid sit in the car before John's meeting with the mayor. When Ingrid asks to see the rest of the house, John's like, nah, you don't want to see that right now. He then says, the mayor is waiting, and Ingrid replies that he's such an important man, which John then replies with, Laura always says that. Way to bring up the wife, John.
Yeah, good move.
Yeah, just, drop the wife's name, you know? At the meeting, John is introduced to the mayor's staff. They get down to business, and John explains that he's been put in charge by Jeffrey to sell the house. Apparently, the staff begged Jeffrey to sell the house to the town, claiming that the sheriff's has been running people off from the house. Like, there's been lots of, trespassing and then teenagers and stuff up at the house and doing shit.
Yeah, the kids are the worst, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
According to the sheriff.
Yeah. Turns out Wilfred didn't have the best reputation? Okay. Among the town folk. Also, the newspaper guy, Mr. Townsend, or whatever his name is he rings a bell.
Yeah, Toman.
Toman, yeah.
Think
he's like deaf.
Think Hector from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's got a bell.
He keeps hitting this bell. I'm expecting a bomb to go off at any second.
Jesus
Just fucking
Christ.
Like the crossover we didn't know we needed, to be honest.
We then get a POV of someone killing a dog. Big sad.
Bro. No, not the dog, bro.
Yeah, never the dog. Then breaking into the Butler house. So I guess the dog was a guard dog, but it didn't approach John and Ingrid when they were there at the house.
Look, we're not in this for continuity errors, I mean,
Are we not?
I was barely in this for the story, so no.
The mysterious trespasser looks around the house and is looking at the photos on the wall of the family. There are more discussions about the house at the meeting, the staff claiming that they aren't rich, and John says the client will sell the house for $50,000 cash, which is a lot of money for the town, apparently. They sort of come to an agreement, and John tells them that they have until tomorrow to pay for the house. And the mayor offers to set John up in the motel. And he tells him that he's just going to stay at the butler's house. They kind of like go back and forth because they don't really want him to stay at the house. And then Tess, who is the phone engineer, offers to connect the phone line again because he'll need it, apparently. John also mentions that he has never met Jeffrey before during this conversation. So...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. At the very end of the scene, as John is walking out, you can hear somebody say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was in a really, like, gravelly voice. I can't remember what they said. All I remember is the dude. It sounded like RFK Jr. With his fucking brainworms and stuff.
It could have been Toman or whatever.
I thought it was, yeah.
It could be because he like makes sound, but he just doesn't speak.
Right.
So it could have been, but I don't remember. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
I might not have caught it.
I would go back and watch that part, but
No.
I'm not going to.
So after the meeting, John gives his wife a call. How sweet. So lovely.
Yeah, he's a great husband.
The mayor and staff decide that once they own the house, they're just going to tear it down. John and Ingrid head back to the house. We get another POV shot of the intruder rushing around the house as they arrive. Ingrid and John are impressed with the house and think it's a waste of a house that no one lives there. John sits down at the organ and begins to play it for Ingrid.
Oh man, he's so dreamy. He's such
He's gross.
He is.
He's kind of creepy and he's gross. That night, Ingrid serves John his dinner and they have a glass of wine together. Their relationship is so 1970s and prior because she's just asking his permission for everything or if she can do something.
Yeah.
And she is a lot younger than he is, and it's very like, and he calls her kid and stuff. Man.
She gives him the wine, and he's like, "Oh, 1970s. This is kind of hard to come by." And then she asks him, "May I have some too?"
Mm-hmm.
And I literally like, "What do you mean? Can I have some too? What do you mean about like what is
Different
that?"
times, man. It's crazy.
No, I just thought they had this like kink thing that they were doing or something. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it could be, but it was a little, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't the king shame, but
No.
It was a relationship between a much older man and his mistress in the
Right.
70s.
Yeah.
So she serves him dinner and they have a glass of wine together. Ingrid begins to daydream about the people that used to live there. Turns out the house is built from bricks and not just wood, and that one day they're tear down the house and rebuild these small, like, cookie cutter type of houses. John says that Jeffrey could easily get $250,000 for the house, but is impatient, so he's going to get screwed over with just getting only $50K.
Well, for 1970, I'm sure $50K was
I mean, yeah.
a pretty nice chunk of money.
Yeah. I mean, $50K in today's money, I mean, that's a good chunk of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to go as far in the next, 4 years, but, it's still a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could, burn it or something for warmth.
God. Troy. Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I'm just being honest, okay? I'm just telling you what you
This
need to hear.
episode is dark, and I think it's because this movie just really...
Dude, this movie did something to us.
It's just not entertaining. It was not a fun time for either of us.
It's like watching a visual representation of a curse.
Honestly, it's like the Ring movie. So the couple goes upstairs and begins to prepare for the night as the intruder hides in a closet with an oil lamp. Over at the police station, the sheriff gives the house a call to test the line to make sure it's connected. And John then goes down to the car to get his cigarettes, leaving Ingrid alone upstairs. And it turns out that it wasn't cigarettes, it's just this small wrapped box. And apparently it's a present for Ingrid, but she's not allowed to open it until the day after Christmas. Like, what? Like, the fuck? Like, you're just gonna be like, yeah, this is your present, but you can't have it.
Well, I don't know. I feel like John sees Ingrid as a child.
That's so creepy.
It is.
That is so fucking creepy.
As we see a little later on, it is gross. It's kind of gross, yeah. It's actually really, really gross.
Yeah. Yeah, so, the rest of the... Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, this movie is weird. Anyways, the intruder wanders around the house with an oil lamp. So, John and Ingrid start to get physical as the intruder wanders up the stairs and towards the bedroom. The intruder bursts into the room and begins to stab the pair to death. After killing Ingrid and John, he lays the Bible down and places a crucifix in one of their bloody hands.
It looked like John was about to give her the best 25 seconds of her life, and then you get hacked to death. That's a pretty fucked up way to go. Although, I would say John kind of deserved it.
I mean, Ingrid didn't. Although, she was a mistress and knows that he was married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking homewrecker.
Fucking cheaters.
Yeah.
Man.
You get what you get.
Fucking cheaters. Anyway. So yeah, they die. Oh no.
DED, dead.
And in these killing scenes, we don't really see a lot of the violence, which is okay, that's fine. But it is very quick. So it seems very cheap. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot more like blood and stuff that we saw than we saw in like Black Christmas. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say there was much gore.
Mm-hmm.
No,
not really.
So, kind of middle of the road.
The intruder then makes a phone call to the police station. The caller says that he's not John, but Jeffrey Butler, and he begins to explain that John didn't arrive at the house. But his car is there. He then requests the sheriff to come up to the house. While still on the line, Tess, the phone operator, begins to ask if there was anything else, and the voice says that it's Mary Ann. And she wants to see Tess again, and then hangs up the phone. Tess tries to call back, but the phone just rings without an answer. So, we're not really sure what's going on. Is this Jeffrey Butler or is it Mary Ann? It's like a back and forth type of thing. Tess then tries to call the sheriff again, but he's already left for the house. And then Tess calls Maggie, who was the other phone operator, and requests that she comes in early so Tess can go to the house, to Butler House.
Right, yeah. pretty wild. I mean,
Is it?
not really. At this point in time, I
It's
was
very
just like,
confusing.
yeah.
I was so confused.
Right.
Because you can't really, when the intruder or whoever's on the phone, when they do their bit, it's the screen is pretty much black.
Yeah.
You can't really make up in the details of what's going on, and
No.
it's so grainy and stuff. So it was really hard to follow along.
Yeah.
And
that is a very reoccurring theme in this movie, and that's why I'm kind of like just not here for it, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
But you know, they can't all be winners. You
No,
know?
that's true. We have to watch the bad to know what the good is. I guess kind of thing, like to really understand the
Yeah, it's like
the bar.
I wish I knew that I was in the good times before the good times ended. You know,
With this movie.
Yeah.
Which
the good times were like before I watched it. But, you know, whatever.
The intruder then takes John's car for a little joyride to Diane's place, it seems. Diane holds up a gun and invites the guy in, who then requests to see the mayor. She threatens to call the cops, but he lets her know that no one is there because he just left the police station, apparently. He tells her that his name is Jeffrey Butler, and she asks to see his ID, in which he, answers with a chuckle, kind of laughing at her, and Diane, means business. She's like, put it on the table. He places the piece of paper on the table, and Diane reads it, and turns out it is Jeffrey Butler from California. Or at least it has an ID that says this. He then jokes with her and to see if she wants to see his maniac card that you get after breaking out of the asylum.
Dude.
Not a good time. Not a good time joke like that. No.
It's like, bro, I'm not sure if you read the room or not.
No.
But you're basically being held at gunpoint.
Yeah, there's a gun in your face, sir. And you're making jokes.
Yeah, like, I don't think Diane's going to hesitate, bro.
Oh, no. Diane in business.
She's just like, she do what she got to do.
No,
she got to shoot you.
No, stop.
I'll shoot you.
Don't do that.
No hesitation.
Was that Al Pacino?
No, that's De Niro and Heat.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Anyways.
So Jeffrey explains that all he wants is to get into his house and that he's kind of lost. Diane then gives him directions to before he leaves. Meanwhile, Tess tells Maggie that if she's not back within an hour to call the police or Mr. Toman. But no one else. Dude, this movie
seems to be some secret squirrel stuff going on.
This fucking movie. Reading this back and remembering and knowing what happens in the end is just fucking wild.
Honestly, like this literally could have just been a really fucked up episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. I feel like imagine that Jeffrey is actually Patrick. Right? And his grandfather, Wilfred, is SpongeBob.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Was that the joke?
No. I don't. Is it? Maybe. Kind of.
I don't. Your brain works differently than mine. So, the sheriff radios in that he's heading to the house, and he sees a light in a graveyard and pulls over to check it out. He is then attacked with a shovel. He falls to the ground and then is stabbed with the shovel. Very inventive. Super inventive.
You know what? This sheriff, he is so cool. He wears his sunglasses at night.
That's true.
Dude.
That's true.
He had sunglasses on.
He did.
I wear my Sorry. But,
are you okay?
No. This movie has done something to me. I don't know.
It really has. I think you've lost it a little bit.
I feel like I've reached into delirium. Like I have a taste.
You gotta come back. You gotta come back.
Yes.
Come back to us.
Okay.
Jeffrey shows back up at Diane's, and she asks him what's going on, and he explains that the house is locked and John isn't there. He sits down and has a drink with her as they wait for the mayor to show up. She begins to question why he's selling the house now, and he just says he needs the money. She asks about the house and tells him that she was warned never to go near the house by her father. She then tells him that she keeps getting a call for her father by a woman who says she's at the house, and her name is Marianne. They decide to go to the house. She mentions that she'll go back to California, and he seems confused, and she clarifies, and he's like, "No, I'll be traveling." Like, and this is happening while they're driving towards the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a voiceover, so it's yeah. Oops.
Yeah. I just don't understand, like, so this guy may or may not be going around hacking people up and stuff.
Yeah.
Stealing their cars,
Uh-huh.
Killing sheriff.
Yeah.
And this one was just like, "Oh, you're going to the house. Can I come too? Can I come too?" And it's like, bitch, you can do whatever you want to do.
Dude. On the way back to the house, they spot the sheriff's car and pull over to check on it. They spot the light in the graveyard and go into the graveyard, and they find the sheriff's sunglasses that he was wearing at night. And then they try to put the clues together a little bit. They decide to go. They decide to get out of there and begin to drive into town to try to find some help. Meanwhile, at the newspaper place, the office, the last coworker is leaving for the night, leaving Mr. Toman alone. The newspaper guy, the director, he's the guy with the bell. He likes to ding the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Meanwhile, the mayor is traveling back to town, humming Silent Night. Just reminder where he is, what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you're watching a movie and they say the title of the movie. That's so cool. That is so cool.
Diane and Jeffrey decide to go see Mr. Toman for some reason. I forget why. I don't think they really had a reason. He sees Jeffrey and kind of freaks out a little bit. And Toman then writes a note that tells him that Tess is on the way to Butler's place, even though she hates the house. It's decided that Jeffrey and Toman will go to the house alone. Instead of going to Butler's, Toman takes Jeffrey to Tess's house, who is really into birds. They just kind of like barged in too. Like, this woman did not lock her door. There's just two men in her house now.
Well, I noticed there's kind of a lot of that where, like, earlier in the movie when Jeffrey steals John Carter's car, the keys were in it. The keys were in the ignition.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. And it's like
70s, man. People trusted people.
Dude.
That's crazy. That's so insane. People used to leave their doors unlocked.
Yeah.
You think we ever leave our doors unlocked?
No. But I mean, we also were kind of smart, kind of a little intelligent, I feel like that's why we keep seeing these drones and stuff. They're actually aliens. And they're looking for intelligent life.
Who knows? Who knows? Toman is convinced that Tess wouldn't go to the house, and Jeffrey's like, well, maybe someone convinced her to go there. Toman then shakes his head and then runs out of the house and drives off, leaving Jeffrey. Like, they're having a conversation. Toman just shakes his head frantically and then, like, hauls ass, and then you hear him leave.
Yeah, Jeffrey didn't even say anything.
No, he just watched, and then Jeffrey
hey.
just...
No, like, hey, you're my ride or nothing.
No.
Like, no.
And then he just grabs one of the birds from the cage.
Yeah,
so...
I wanted to just scream at the TV, get your damn hands off that bird. You get your damn hands off of him. You don't touch them.
Stop touching the birds.
Oh, man.
The birds. I don't know what he did to that bird.
I hope he got bird flu.
Yeah.
I hope he died.
Hope that bird pecked his hand and hurt him.
Pooped on him.
Yeah.
Just pooped all over him.
The phone rings at the newspaper office and Diane answers. It's the intruder, and the voice tells her to bring her father, and also again introduces himself as Marianne. Marianne says that she has the diary and mentions Christmas Eve of 1935 and then hangs up. We cut to the POV of the intruder who was stuffing the sheriff's body into the cop car's trunk and drives off. The order of what? Diane and Jeffrey were just there. Where was where was his body?
I don't know.
Why are we back here at the graveyard?
I don't know.
What?
Maybe the killer killed the sheriff, buried him, and made it appear like he'd been buried for years, right? Jeff and Diane come. They fuck off, and then the killer digs him back up.
This is all happening in one night. This is all happening in a matter of hours.
Yeah. I mean, the title of the movie is Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Yeah,
Not Silent Nights.
True. It just the cut of this film and the order of events, it's very frustrating and very hard to follow. Again, and also the graveyard, pitch black.
Yeah.
It's just grainy blackness. There's nothing.
Apparently there's a tombstone there.
Something. It's something gray and splotchy.
Something.
At the house, Tess discovers the cop car somehow. So Tess left before everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Tess was on her way to the house. We've had Diane and Jeffrey go from Diane's house to Toman's house to then they went to Tess's house to go look for her, and then you have it just the cop car was what? Why?
I don't know.
Anyway, okay, so Tess discovers the cop car somehow has gotten there before she got there. And she sees a light coming from the window. She then enters the house, which isn't locked yet again, and calls out for the sheriff. She steps further into the house, and the lights cut out, and Tess screams and falls over, which was actually a pretty cool scene, honestly.
Girl, same. If the lights were to cut out, I would just fall over.
I would scream and fall over, yes.
Probably poop my pants. I'd poop a little bit, but I would definitely fall over.
A bright light then blinds her as the intruder says they remember her and tells her not to be afraid. They then offer Tess their hand, and Tess takes it, and then she's stabbed to death.
Yep. See, and that's why you don't grab hands that are reaching to you from the dark. Okay? If there's ever anybody reaching to you from the shadows and says, "Hey, take my hand," don't do it. Don't be that
creepy.
guy. Yeah.
That's kind of creepy.
Because 9 times out of 10, I would say 60% of the time, you get stabbed to death every time. Okay? Every single time. Don't be that guy.
You proud of that one?
I'm always proud of that one.
Diane has begun to search through old newspapers looking for Christmas Eve of 1935. And there's a bunch of history about the house, nothing really special, which Diane even says that to herself. Then, in 1930, Butler's wife dies of TB. 3 years later, Butler's daughter, Marianne, is attacked and raped. And then in 1934, she gives birth to Jeffrey. The next year, the house is turned into a mental hospital. For some fucking reason. By Dr. Robbins.
Yep.
Butler commits Marianne to that very hospital, who then is only 16 at the time.
Yep. Topical. Honestly, when they were talking about his wife dying of TB, the only thing I could think of was Arthur Morgan. Poor Arthur. He didn't deserve that.
I thought Doc Holliday.
Oh, that too, yeah.
That's where I went.
Yeah. He wasn't as sick as he made out. Played for keeps, remember?
I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have brought it up. No, it's in there, isn't it? It's back up in the front, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Fuck yeah.
That mind castle you got in there is crazy.
Hell yeah. Sometimes you just gotta rhythm with the tism. Stay gold, pony boy.
Stop, please.
Okay.
we just we jump to the intruder, Marianne, Jeffrey, whoever the fuck they are, smashing a car up for some reason. It's so dark in this scene, I can't even tell what type of car it is or who car it's supposed to be.
My theory is it was the Kool-Aid Man the whole time. No, it was Colonel Mustard in the dining room with the candlestick. That's what it was. Okay.
You want to fight? You want to fight? I'm gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
No.
We're almost done. I swear. I know it's bad. I just need. Give me your hands. Give me your hands right now.
Okay.
We're gonna get through this together.
Okay.
I'm sorry I made you watch this.
Okay.
I had to watch it by myself.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, but
we're never gonna have to watch this movie or talk about it ever again after this.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Go team.
Okay.
Go team.
Go team.
Thank you. So we jump to the intruder, Marianne, Jeffrey, whoever the fuck they are, smashing a car for some reason. It's so dark that in this scene that I can't even tell you what type of car it is. I just know he's smashing some sort of vehicle. Jeffrey returns to Diane once again. He like sneaks up on her for some reason too. Like, I don't know what that was about. Diane begins to question Jeffrey more about his life, and Jeffrey tells Diane that his mother died in childbirth, and she's like, well, that's not what the people are saying in the papers. And somewhere the car is now burning. Like, I don't know. There's a cut to the car, and now it's on fire.
Yeah. Which I think it was Toman's car.
I think so, maybe.
Yeah.
Jeffrey reads the papers that Diane found, and she suggests that maybe his mother is alive and waiting for him at the house. What? Girl, you live in the town. You know that house has been abandoned.
Like, dude, this would be the wildest episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Dude, it's crazy. Jeffrey's like, right, okay. Fucking no more side trips. The pair head to Butler's house. On the way there, they spot a burning car. And it turns out to be Toman's. But it's empty. So, yeah. They continue forward to the house, and Jeffrey's not paying attention to the road, and Diane yells, Jeffrey, look! And then there's a person in the middle of the road who is quickly run over. Surprise, it's Toman, or was. He's dead now. Ain't no way that skinty old man survived that. Also, someone cut his hands off. Someone cut this man's hands off for some reason.
I said, good job, Jeff. You hit Toman with the car. And now he's dead. Congratulations.
Why'd they cut his hands off?
I don't know. But
when did that happen?
If Jeff wasn't the killer, he is now.
True. I mean, technically, that's vehicle manslaughter or whatever. Yeah.
That's punishable by
vehicular manslaughter.
That's like 7 to 10 years, bro.
Damn, Jeffrey, you ain't traveling. Actually, you ain't gonna be traveling.
This motherfucker's a fugitive.
That $50K is going to your attorney, man.
God damn.
Diane then accuses Jeffrey of killing Toman, and he tells her to get in the car, and she does it for some reason. They finally arrive at the house, and Jeffrey just goes straight in without Diane, ignores her and everything. Diane notices that Jeffrey took the keys. By the way, no fucking duh, girl. No fucking duh, girl. Like,
see, I feel like Jeffrey thought that Diane was a ride or die, but she's like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Selfish.
I know.
Right?
Too bad.
A phone call is made by Marianne, Jeffrey, intruder, whoever, to the mayor who has finally arrived at home. And they invite him over to the house, saying they're having a reunion and that everyone is there, including his daughter. And Papa grabs his gun.
Man, my boy playing for keeps over here.
Dude, that a double barrel? Was it a double barrel?
Something like that. He said, skin that smoke wagon.
It was so difficult to make up the details in this movie. I don't know what. It's a long barrel gun. It could be a shotgun. Could be a rifle.
Yeah.
Something.
He grabbed it off the wall, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, I don't know either. Jeffrey wanders around a bit in the house and begins to read the diary of Mr. Butler. I don't know where this diary came from. I don't know how Jeffrey found it. It was just kind of sitting on the shelf and he just picked it at random.
Yeah.
And started reading it.
Yeah. Lucky guess.
So, the diary. It is revealed that Jeffrey had been taken from Marianne and sent to California. Butler then regretted turning his home into an asylum and upset that they had not been able to help Marianne for a year. On Christmas Eve in 1935, Butler is attending a Christmas party with the doctors and the staff and eat and drink, and then he sneaks off to Marianne's room. It is then revealed that he had fathered Jeffrey. Big ooh moment, but kind of saw that coming.
Bro. I said, bro, what the fuck?
I know.
Honestly, though, kind of explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. It explains a lot.
Like, Jeffrey's kind of fucked up.
He looks like Richard Simmons, but like a really rough cut Richard Simmons.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'd buy that.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
He like Richard Simmons if he'd been in a couple street fights.
Yeah, yeah.
Like got slashed with a broken bottle or something.
His face got pummeled. Pummeled?
Yeah,
Pummeled.
Yeah.
So he also, when he went to free Marianne, he also let the other inmates out, who then form a mob armed with farming tools. The inmates then crash the party and begin killing the doctors and staff. Marianne has slipped away from her father and just in time to watch all this happen. And then the inmates also killed her.
You know, sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know.
You want to talk about like that first kill scene?
So the one that I remember was the broken glass.
Yeah.
And from what I could make out, he like gouged out the doctor's eye with it. Pretty gross, but you can't really make a whole lot out, like detail wise.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this whole scene, this segment, was almost like a silent film with sound.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because the visuals were
actually kind of cool during this scene.
Yeah.
Like it's very eerie. It's very completely pretty much quiet as the inmates kind of like gather themselves and gather their numbers and pick up, tools and stuff from around the house. Mm-hmm. And the doctors and the staff have been like just partying hard, like drinking, eating, dancing, laughing and stuff. Like they really just were hamming it up. Mm-hmm. And they had kind of like passed out and like slowed down, and all the inmates just slowly file into the dining room. And one of the nurses or one of the staff members finally kind of notices and kind of like gasps a little bit. And then they just kind of like surround her too. And it was crazy. And then one of the inmates picks up a martini glass, drinks the martini, and then slams it and breaks it on the table, and then slowly puts it over the doctor's eye and pushes it in. We don't get to see it, but we know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of House on Haunted Hill, where as far as like the inmates killing the staff and stuff like that. So yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the best shot, best organized scenes. Mm-hmm. That was the best part of this movie. Diane decides to finally go into the house and finds Jeffrey standing in the dark staring at his reflection. He tells her that Wilfred Butler is still alive and that this is still his house. Diane tries to reason with him, but apparently Butler had poured gas on a squatter that took his place, wanting the townsfolk to believe that he had died. Whoa. And this all happened after the inmates killed his daughter.
Yeah. So
it turns out that this is the wildest shit. The mayor and his crew were all inmates of the asylum. Dude, what the fuck?
Bro, on this week's episode of Law and Order SVU, these fucking inmates are running this town. It's crazy.
It's
honestly.
fucking nuts. That is a twist. That, I mean, a lot of this was predictable and stuff, but that, I was not expecting that.
No, I literally said, hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
How? How are these inmates running the town now?
I don't know.
They murdered people and now they're just the head people of this town, of this community.
It's not really explained. It's just they broke out.
Yep.
They killed these people.
And then they got better?
Yeah. And now they run into town. Just is. You know, how does the posi track rear end on a Plymouth work? It just does. Anyways.
Meanwhile, the mayor arrives at the house with his shoddy. He spots someone sitting in a chair covered by a blanket. He then approaches it and pokes it with a barrel. And then the mayor screams. I think it was like Tess's body, but it doesn't really show it. It just, you hear him like yell. The mayor enters the house and sees Jeffrey and they aim at each other at the same time. And then they shoot each other.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild. I mean, it was like, I don't know. It wasn't very drawn out. Mm-hmm. They saw each other. Mm-hmm. They aimed at each other.
And they just shot.
Each other.
No hesitation.
No.
They just shot each other.
Like, dude, fuck it.
No words, nothing.
For these motherfuckers, it was on sight.
No care that Diane was like standing kind of in the middle of them already.
No.
They just was like, pop, pop.
Yeah. She was, because wasn't she standing like up the stairs?
She was standing like at the base of the stairs or at the lower part of the stairs, something like that.
Right.
And Jeffrey's on the top of the stairs.
Well, no, because I thought they were at the, like, in the lobby, sort of, like, so if they were, like, standing perpendicular to the stairs, and then they aimed at each other, because the mayor was standing in the doorway,
yeah, he was standing in the doorway. He didn't even get into the house.
No.
It was like, open the door, pop.
Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't it Wilfred was standing on the stairs?
No, Wilfred hasn't showed up yet.
Oh. Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure
somebody was on the stairs.
I'm pretty sure. So Jeffrey was looking at himself at the like mid-level of the stairs, and Diane was making her way up to the stairs when her father shows up, and then they see each other and shoot, and Jeffrey falls over this banister and ends up in the parlor area.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. Diane cries over their bodies as someone walks down the stairs and calls her Marianne. Diane freaks out and tries to exit through the front door, which she can't get out or get open for some reason. Like, somehow they're magically locked doors now.
Yeah.
No locked doors throughout the whole movie, but now locked door.
It's like during during this film, they learned to all of a sudden start locking doors. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it turns out Wilfred is in fact still alive, and he is taking his sweet ass time down these stairs, but somehow still managed to get to her before she can open the fucking door. Also, somehow this ancient ass skeleton man is strong enough to pull her up the stairs as she's fighting. Like, he gets her up like halfway up the stairs, and she's like twisting and screaming and
yeah.
And Wilfred was not a young man.
Well, no, God no.
And now it's been like 30-something years.
Plot twist: he's Ra's al Ghul.
Actually, it'd be more like, let's see, 1935, and this was 72.
That's like a good almost 40 years.
Yeah, it is actually. So,
yeah,
Wilfred's ass is ancient.
Yeah.
So Diane's finally able to slip away and grabs Jeffrey's gun and shoots Wilfred twice, and then runs into another room screaming and crying as she falls to the ground. But by morning, Diane is all cried out and walks away from the house. A year later, Diane walks away from the house forever as it is demolished.
Yay. And I said, thank God it's over. That was not a trip I would like to take again.
Okay, before I dive into the details, I want to emphasize that I don't think this movie is bad or worthless by any means. That said, it's definitely a challenging watch. Being a 52-year-old movie or film, the visuals are blurry, grainy, and very dark, which can make it difficult to follow at times, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing is extremely slow, and while it's not heavy on gore, it does have some violent moments. However, a few scenes are hard to decipher due to the murky visuals, leaving you feeling a bit confused about what's actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah. The cinematography during this film was not par for today's standards by any means, let alone 1970s. So, yeah.
So, Silent Night, Bloody Night from 1972 is a cult classic horror film that combines a gothic atmosphere with a early slasher elements, serving as a predecessor to slasher genre that gained popularity later in the decade. Directed by Theodore Gershuni and co-written by Jeffrey Konvitz, the film was shot in November and December of 1970 in Oyster Bay, New York.
Oyster Bay.
You don't even like oysters.
No, I do not.
Oh, I love some oysters. I do. I say so. Our cast: Patrick O'Neill as John Carter, James Patterson as Jeffrey Butler, Mary Woronov as Diane Adams, and Astrid Heron as Ingrid, John Carradine as Charlie Toman, Walter Abel as Mayor Adams, Fran Stevens as Tess, Walter Colvin as the sheriff, Philip Bruns as Wilfred Butler, and then the voice of Wilfred was Stats Cotsworth, and then Donella Doone as Marianne Butler. So, you know. A member of the Warhol Superstars appeared as extras in Silent Night, Bloody Night during the film's flashback sequence, so the party on Christmas Eve in 1935. Among them were Ondine, Candy Darling, Susan Rothenberg, whose presence add to a surreal and avant-garde element to these haunting scenes. Their involvement connects the film to Andy Warhol's and iconic artistic circle, lending an experimental and countercultural edge. Warhol actors referred to individuals who were part of Andy Warhol's circle of collaborators and frequently appeared in his avant-garde films he produced in his studio, The Factory, in New York City during the 1960s and 70s, which I thought was pretty kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This is also actress Candy Darling's last film. She was a transgender actress and muse of Andy Warhol, known for her ethereal beauty and roles in avant-garde films that challenge traditional gender and performance. So
interesting.
Yeah, I thought that. I mean, the movie's got a little bit of a history.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. And as I said before, that's why I don't really like to hate on movies. Even if I don't find them appealing or really my thing, there's still history. People still put work into them, and that's what I really love.
Yeah. Yeah, they all have their own place amongst the, history of humanity,
Yeah.
So...
The film was initially released under the alternative title Night of the Full Dark Moon in November of 1972 by Cannon Films. It later saw subsequent release under the titles Silent Night, Bloody Night, and Death House. Although credited to Zora Investments Associates, the film never registered in the United States Copyright Office, causing it to fall under public domain. Which is probably why you can watch the whole movie on its Wikipedia page.
That's pretty wild.
I am not kidding.
I have seen tons of films that you can watch on their Wikipedia page, but the majority of them are, silent films from the early 1900s. So, knowing that there's a movie from the 1970s that is in the public domain is
Well,
pretty
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, they're credited to it, but the film was never registered. So someone fucked up. Someone fucked up a really long time ago.
Damn, bro. They probably lost their job.
So technically, if you wanted to redo this movie, you probably fucking could.
Yeah, there you go. Somebody
Which
remake
the story is interesting, but it just the shots and everything were not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So the movie is notable for its early predecessor of the slasher film genre, influenced later classics such as Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Ooh. The killer's eerie phone calls to victims in Black Christmas bear a striking resemblance to the unsettling tone and atmosphere of Silent Night, Bloody Night. One of the alternate titles for Black Christmas, by the way, was Silent Night, Evil Night, further highlighting its thematic connection to Gershoni's film.
Yeah. Honestly, Black Christmas did a much better job executing those ideas and stuff. But obviously, Silent Night, Bloody Night has to be given credit for its pioneering of those sorts of tropes.
Yeah, and also, even though there is only a 2-year difference between the films, the jump in technology it's really noticeable.
Yeah.
Definitely really noticeable. The budget for Silent Night, Bloody Night was modest, somewhere between like $200K, $300K, typical for independent horror film at this time. Despite its limited resources, the filmmakers maximized their budget by using a historic mansion that added an authentic Gothic atmosphere. The house used in Silent Night, Bloody Night was the historic Henry Lloyd Manor House located in Oyster Bay, Long Island, New York. Built in 1653, the manor served as a primary location for the film, providing its eerie Gothic atmosphere. Its real-life age and architecture lent to the authentic sense of decay and foreboding for the movie, which fit perfectly with the film's history and tone. I love the house. And, of course, I looked it up. I saw the street view, and it's a cute little thing.
Yeah.
It's right next to, like, this really big lake or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty nice. It was really, really nice.
Maybe one day we'll be lucky enough to go visit it.
Maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Additionally, the inclusion of the Warhol superstars as extra, likely through connections rather than costly contracts, helped the production stay within the financial means while adding a unique touch to the film's style. The low budget contributed to the film's grainy, dark aesthetic, which since has become part of its cult appeal, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I like that because artists and filmmakers, it's a community, and people help each other, make each other, art and stuff.
Yep.
And back in the 70s, I imagine that was a much bigger thing. Now to get into films and stuff than having nepo babies and stuff.
Nepo babies.
So as we finish this discussion, Silent Night, Bloody Night, it's clear that while the film wasn't widely recognized upon release, its impact on the slasher genre and cult following have secured a place in horror history. With an eerie Gothic atmosphere and connection to the Warhol superstars, it remains a unique and memorable film, whether you love it or find it hard to watch. There's no denying the haunting charm and raw, independent spirit that defines Silent Night, Bloody Night. It's a tough little movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad we did it though. I'm really glad we did it, but still.
Yeah. I mean, it's stood the test of time, and for what it is, it's not a movie that needs to be shunned or anything like that. It's not great by today's standards, or even for the sake of this podcast, it's not even, I wouldn't say that it's even like top 10 movies that we've seen, at least in my personal opinion.
No, it's down there. It's bottom barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the description I read before I watched it was just really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit of a letdown.
But as always, like you have to preface it by saying that, every movie that has ever been made has its own place, for the people that enjoy it,
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's plenty of people that enjoy this movie, but it's just not something that I would want to go back and
Revisit. No.
at least anytime soon. But yeah.
Would I like tell people about this movie? Yeah. I definitely would tell people about this movie.
Yeah.
Would I be like, yeah, I'll watch it with you? Nah.
That's you.
That's
that
your
is
time.
You, yeah.
But yeah, I'll tell you about it because it's interesting.
And I've seen Gator Bait, bro.
Are we talking about Gator Bait again?
I just wanted
to talk
to
about the missing episode.
That is the missing episode.
Would you rather watch this or Gator Bait?
Oh fuck, bro! Why would you do that to me?
Would you rather watch this or Gator Bait?
I'd rather watch this.
You'd rather watch this,
to be honest. Yeah. Gator Bait? No. You'd have to slip like a 20 my way.
Oh, just 20?
At least, if not more. Like, bro, fuck that movie. For sure. Fuck that movie. So anyways, that's it for Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Yeah.
What are we watching next weekend?
I am in between two movies, so I'm not sure which one I'm gonna choose or not.
Oh, okay.
I have two choices.
All right. Well, you keep your secrets.
I will.
Okay, good.
Good, I will.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wonderful. I love that for me.
You should.
Yeah, I love that
glad.
for you.
Okay.
That's
fine. So next week on Christmas Day, we're going to go watch Robert Eggers' Nosferatu.
Yes.
Super excited for that. And hopefully, we'll have extra time next week. We can sit down and actually record an intermissions episode.
Yeah, we need to do that. We still need to do Terrifier.
Yeah.
Which I want to rewatch all three of them and then do an episode about it, honestly.
All three, huh?
Yeah, back to back, baby.
You know what you need to watch?
What?
You should watch All Hallows Eve.
Have you watched it?
I have seen it,
Oh.
yes.
I know I need to. I just haven't, sat down and done it yet.
Right. For those not knowledgeable on it, All Hallows Eve is Damien Leone's anthology film.
You're going off into a rant, baby.
I know. I have autism. I'm sorry about that. Anyways,
we'll have a big episode about it. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll do a whole episode.
We'll do an intermissions episode of all of entire Terrifier thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyways,
thank you for tuning in to Animated Watch.
Where can they find us?
I'm getting to it.
Sorry, I'm very
Lord have
impatient
mercy.
today.
I know.
We both I'm sorry, baby.
This film did something to us.
Yeah, it did.
Like after this,
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you at all the rest of the day.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say that's mean. Don't say that.
I'm gonna go to my hole and I'm just gonna be with myself.
In your hole, huh?
Yeah, my hole being the couch. Anyways.
Okay. Sorry.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to check out our other episodes where we dive into more eerie and thrilling films. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky for updates and behind-the-scenes content.
And Twitter, as long as it's around.
Not Twitter.
TikTok. And TikTok, as long as it's around.
Well,
this movie did something to me.
Lord have mercy. Well, from what I can tell, TikTok will be banned on January 19th. So, for more information and to explore our full episode library, visit our website at www.andimadehimwatch.com. Your support means the world to us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Share your favorite moments, suggest movies for us to cover, or just say hi. We're also thinking of, what did we say, episode 50?
Oh, yeah, episode 50.
So we're thinking of doing sort of like a role reversal where I will make Dani watch something that she's never seen.
And you're going to do all the research and everything?
I will do the research and the script and everything.
Okay.
And you will watch and take notes. But that film is none other than 1922's F.W. Murnau's original Nosferatu.
Yeah, I've never, as a goth, I apologize. I apologize for this. I'm so sorry. I've never seen the original Nosferatu. I've always wanted to. I just never got around to doing it. I've watched a lot of other movies, and I'm sorry. I'm shamed.
It is a good watch. It's a good watch, and for it to be a silent film, it's entertaining. So we'll get there. Obviously, this is episode 31.
Mm-hmm.
So we have quite a few more episodes to cover till then. But stay tuned. There are plenty more awesome episodes coming your way.
Yep.
So as always, stay spooky.
Bye.